AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, AI, is replacing human tasks faster than you might think.
Alright, what's up? Did I actually come all the way to San Francisco to make this video? Yes, kind of. I'm also here for other things, but I thought it'd be appropriate to make a video in San Francisco about my favorite AI marketing tools, given that this is literally the AI capital of the world. I wrote a blog post around AI marketing tools around 2 years ago. If you actually go to Google and search AI marketing tools, it should be one of the first ones that comes up, and it's been read like 200,000 times, which is actually insane to me. But in this video, I want to go over some extra tools that I've been using and found ever since I wrote that article. And in this video, we'll go over maybe like 1 or 2 items from that article, but I'm gonna go over more tools that I haven't really talked about or told anybody about. Some of them I use either every day or I use them at least a few times a week. Now, I'm gonna structure this video into 3 different buckets of tools. So the first one is gonna be like copywriting and SEO tools. These are tools that I use mostly every day, given the fact that I do SEO and content marketing as like a full-time job. I've been doing it for 8 years. So I'm gonna go over those tools that I use almost every day. And then I'm gonna go over like creation tools, so tools that help you build things like a website or videos and things like that. And then I'm gonna go over into the last bucket, which is my favorite right now, around marketing automation. And so that section is gonna be super, super cool. The last tool I'm gonna mention is probably my favorite one right now. Besides that, let's get into the first section with the first tool on our list, which is Frase. So Frase is this AI content optimization tool. If you are an SEO person or you work in content marketing and you write blog posts, this is a great tool to have kind of in your tech stack or in your tool belt. The main reason why I use Frase is for the content optimization. So I'm actually gonna log in here and I'm gonna hit new document and I'm gonna create an SEO workflow. And let's say we wanna create a topic around how to start a newsletter, which is actually a blog post that I wrote a while ago. So if I look up how to start a newsletter and I hit create document. And now we're presented into this editor, which essentially you can just start writing in here. This is no different than like a Google Doc or a Notion if you were to write a blog post there. But really where the magic happens is actually going to the research section and hitting start for our keyword. As you can see, it says searching Google. So what this is doing is it's actually searching the keyword in Google, analyzing the top results, and then finding patterns between those top results of what keywords or phrases are most commonly used within those articles or those pages. And then it's spitting that back out and it's giving us a list of those keywords and phrases to use in our blog posts to help it rank better for that specific keyword. As you can see, now that it's loaded, it shows us that we have a few different tabs we can go through. So SERP pretty much stands for search engine results page, and that is essentially when you Google something, the page that comes up with all the search results, that's referred to as the SERP. So as you can see, it's telling us things like this #1 ranking spot. As you can see, it actually scraped 8 results. So this first one from Inbox Collective, and it's scraping all of their headlines. You can see the second one, which is actually my article from Marketer Milk, and it's scraping all of my headlines. And then same thing with the other articles, and so on and so on. And so you can get ideas for headlines when you're creating an outline. And you can also even go to the outline tab and actually do that as well and generate headlines with AI, which if you're writing about a topic that you don't really know a lot about, you can use this tool to generate headlines, but you generally shouldn't really be writing stuff about stuff that you don't really know well, or else you're not really doing the internet a service. You're kind of doing it a disservice if you're just writing about stuff you don't know about, because people genuinely might come across a piece of content and you don't want to mislead them. But we're gonna go off topic there. If you're going to optimize, as you can see, this is the whole section where it shows you what keywords to include in your blog post, and it can tell you things like, the average word count for this keyword as well. So for example, if I were to start typing and say like this is a blog post, just as an example, as you can see, when I wrote blog post, it highlighted green and it said your mentions and competitor mentions 1. So that means all right, it's down here. So it did say mention blog posts at one point in this article. As you can see, we went from a 0% to a 3%. And as you write, say, more stuff, you can see that it'll pick it up in the tool and it'll say like email list 1 out of 2. So it's mentioned, on average twice. So you might want to mention it twice. Newsletter content, target audience, so on and so on and so on. And it has all of these keywords, as you can see. And we're at a 6% now. And it's telling us the average score is a 47%. So you don't necessarily need to get 100% ever with these tools, but you kind of want to aim for something at the top results or even better than what's at the top. And so this is a great tool to help you achieve that when you're writing content. Now, my second favorite AI tool for marketers is Quillbot. I don't see a lot of people talking about this tool. I feel like it's mostly used by maybe students. I know for me back in college and high school, don't tell anyone, but I kind of used to use this tool for paraphrasing things when writing essays. But you can actually use this as a marketer as well. Maybe you're drafting an email response through ChatGPT or Claude and you want to humanize it a little bit, or you want to rephrase things, you can use Quillbot. Now, it's also more than a paraphraser. It has features like Grammarly of being like a grammar checker, and there's also an AI detector and even plagiarism checker in it, but I use it mostly for the paraphrasing tool. So let me go ahead and grab a piece of text, and in ChatGPT, I'm just gonna write a couple paragraphs on how to start a newsletter. And as you can see, it's giving me a paragraph. It's still writing, but I'm just gonna take this top one and I'm gonna go back into Quillbot and paste it here. And as you can see, there's different modes we can use as well, and even different languages. So we can change it from standard to fluency, humanize, formal, academic, simple, creative. We can do a lot of different things. A lot of these features you will have to pay extra for. So I'm just gonna use, for demonstration purposes, the standard, and I'm just gonna hit paraphrase. As you can see, this one says, starting a newsletter begins with defining your purpose and audience. And now it's paraphrased to, establishing your goal and target audience is the first step to starting a newsletter. So you can maybe like that and continue with it. And even if you don't like it, you can highlight over a sentence, hit rephrase, and we can say like this middle one. The first step in starting a newsletter is determining your audience and goal. So as you can see, it's saying the same thing, but it's paraphrasing it. And that's the purpose of this tool. So this is definitely a cool tool to check out if you need something like this. Okay, the next tool on our list is Originality.ai. So there are a lot of content detectors out there, and this is the best one that I found so far. Now, there's a lot of people that say content detectors, they kind of suck or they're not real. And I agree with some of that sentiment. I think what Originality.ai does really well is it's able to really tell like if something is exact copy paste from ChatGPT or from Claude or from Gemini. It's really good at detecting that, but sometimes you might get like false positives. Like I've had times where I've written something that's 100% written by me. I put it into Originality.ai and it says it's like a 60% likelihood of being AI. So it does kind of get confusing there, but let me just log in and show you what I mean. So here I can log in and I can go to Content Scanner and I can start a new scan. And what I'm gonna do is actually take this that we had from ChatGPT. I'm gonna paste this over into Originality.ai and I'm gonna check this. And as you can see, I can do things from like plagiarism check to fact check to readability. And the thing I like about Originality.ai is you only pay for what you need. So you pay on a per credit basis and you just load up your account with credits. As you can see, I have like 1,176 credits. And this, to run this, is gonna cost me 6 credits. So I'm just gonna hit scan. And here it's going to do its thing. And it's gonna detect, is this AI or not? Or what's the likelihood of this being AI? And like I said, when it's usually from ChatGPT, straight over, it's usually like 100%, it automatically detects it as AI. And there we go, as you can see, 100% confidence that this is AI generated. So it's good if you wanna double check, maybe you're working with a freelance writer or something and looks a little fishy and you wanna put it into Originality.ai. If it says 100% confidence that it's AI, then it's probably copy pasted. But if it's maybe a false positive, it won't be 100%. It'll maybe say like 50% likely or 40% likely or something along those lines. Now let me actually take one of my blog posts and put it into this and let's see what comes up. So I'm gonna search how to start a newsletter and my article is right here. If I go and just copy and paste this, so let's take the title. Let's see if I can delete all this. Paste the title, go over, copy, paste. And as we can see, my article is 6,000 words and the plagiarism detection is only at 4,000 max. So I would have to delete some of this and just run it at 4,000. But for the sake of this, I'm just gonna uncheck this so I can run it. It's gonna cost me 62 credits and let's hit scan. And as you can see, I 100% wrote this myself. And as you can see, it's saying 100% likely original. And I can scroll over and it's saying, you know, some parts are like yellow and it says 46 likelihood of it being AI generated. These really green parts, it's like 99% likelihood of not being AI generated. If you ever see 99% likelihood of not, then there's a good chance that it's not. And yeah, I 100% wrote this myself, didn't even use AI. And you can even get a little bit more sensitive with it. So they have different modes. This is light, I can even do turbo, which is more sensitive. So let's see what happens there. And as you can see, even on the most sensitive version, I've had this one usually say like, you know, it might be like 30% chance of it being AI or 60% chance of it being human when I do the sensitive turbo mode, but it's still saying 100% that this is by a real human. So I think Originality.ai is a great tool for kind of experimenting with AI detection. So the next tool is Hemingway Editor. And this is actually one of my favorite ever like writing tools of all time. I've been using Hemingway Editor for like, ever since I've been in my career, almost a decade. And it's just really helps you refine your writing style and how you write. So as you can see, like you can paste whatever, it's completely free and it'll tell you if a sentence is hard to read, or if it's kind of really easy to read, or if there are no issues with it. So it really helps you like just be more clear in your writing style. I know nowadays you can potentially like just take a blog post or something you've written yourself and give it to ChatGPT to rewrite it for you or edit it for you. But this is just a great way to, if you want to improve your writing, to write in the Hemingway Editor. So I'm actually going to delete all this. And I'm gonna paste over that AI or the how to start a newsletter article. I'm missing the title, but as you can see, I am not a great writer myself, I will admit, but it gives me like some improvements on what I can do when I write. As you can see, some areas I really do need to work on my writing skills, but this is just a really cool tool to essentially just become a better writer. And you can see where you're kind of being redundant, or it might be hard for your reader to understand what you're saying. So again, Hemingway Editor, a great tool to use. And that's gonna conclude it for these content SEO tools that I use, or copywriting tools. Now let's go on to the creation tools. So the fifth tool, and also the first one in this creation content building category, is lolol.ai. It's very confusing. But this tool is actually not really for marketers at a first glance. It looks like it's more for music producers so they can extract vocals from different tracks. But what's really cool about this is they have a voice cleaner. So say you are a content creator, maybe you're creating UGC content for a social media brand, or you're just creating content outdoors or somewhere, and there's a lot of background noise. You can actually take your audio file, input it into the lolol.ai platform, and it will actually eliminate, with using AI, it's going to eliminate the background noise. And this is the best tool that I've seen to do this. Some tools, it'll like really change the way your voice sounds, or it sounds like you're underwater or something. This tool is just super clean at eliminating background noise. And I actually use this for parts of my course that I made on content marketing and SEO, because I made that whole entire course in a studio in New York, and it was in Midtown Manhattan, where it was super crowded and super loud with sirens going off all the time. And so I had to use this tool to eliminate some of the sirens at certain times in that video. Anyways, Lolol AI, great tool if you want to help eliminate background noise using AI. Okay, the next tool, which I really love, is called Reloom. Now, if you're creating websites, this is a great tool to not only design websites really quickly, but also build them really fast as well, especially if you're using Webflow. So Webflow is my website builder of choice. I've been using it for many, many years now. I used to even work at Webflow, just want to preface that. I started using the tool before I even worked there. I use it to build all of my websites. The entire Marketer Milk website is built with Webflow. I think it's the best website platform for SEO if you're a non-technical person. And for those of you that don't know Webflow, I would describe it as imagine WordPress and Photoshop merged and had a baby. So it is kind of an advanced, it's a professional tool, and it can be very advanced. So what Reloom does is it just makes it a lot easier to build components and push them to your Webflow website. And now they have this AI feature where I can, write whatever I want to create a website about. So in this case, I'm going to say, create a website, or actually it says describe a company. So I'm going to say, my company reviews bikes and sells bike parts. And I'm going to hit generate. And that's kind of foreshadowing a future video. And let me just go through this, and we can see bike parts. And as you can see, it basically goes through and it creates an entire wireframe and sitemap essentially of what this page should look like. And I can look at the wireframe, and as you can see, there's different sections of the website that this automatically generated with AI. And say I don't like certain parts, I can actually click on them, and I can go to replace component, and I can browse from multiple different website components. Say I want this one, and I can start to go through and stitch together this landing page how I like. I can also click on this, and I can say regenerate copy, and I could click generate copy. It's probably going to be the same one. It changed. Elevate your bike with premium bike parts. Again, I don't recommend completely using AI to write copy all the time, but this is great for small pieces of copy on your website. And Reloom, you can automatically do it all within Reloom. And there's even this style guide, which is really cool. So as you can see, this is what the website is looking like right now. And what I can actually do is I can start editing my style guide with different colors. So say I want to make this like this kind of red color. Maybe this one I want to make like a blue, and this one like a yellow. As you can see, when I change it to red, this button up here in the join section changed to red. I can also change the headings. So the fonts, this is using Google Fonts. Maybe I want this Playfair display. And if I click that, you can see all the headings have now changed to that. I can change the body copy as well. So I can say, space grotesque for the body. And now we can see this is coming together. I can do more editing in here. I'm not going to go over building an entire website in this video. I will in a future video. It might already be on my channel depending on when you're watching this. But as you can see, there's other stuff we can do as well, like changing the cards and the images, and even the user interface styling for the buttons. So if you hover over a button, these different effects where it goes in, or it adds the shadow, or it raises up. And there's just like different cool little animations that you can do. So right now it's set on this bubble one. And then essentially what we can do is up here is we click this little icon, and we can either export this entire design to Figma. So Figma is a design tool a lot of designers use and a lot of marketers use in tech. So I can either export this whole thing straight to Figma, which is really cool, or I can export it all straight to Webflow, which I think is even cooler. Or what's really, really cool is I can actually even export this as React code. If I have a development team, maybe you're not using Webflow, and you have developers that manage your marketing website, you can send them either the Figma file, or you can send them the actual React code, or even HTML and CSS. So it's really cool. In this case, I have Webflow, and I would hit export. Now you do need to upgrade to a paid plan to export. So I'm going to log into a different account that actually has a paid plan. So here in Webflow, I can actually go to apps, and I can search and connect to Reloom. So I'm going to launch it. I might have to blur some stuff out here because this is for a client. And I can go to my project in Reloom. I can select what pages I want. I'm sorry, I have to blur this part out, and I'm gonna hit Start Import. And once I hit Start Import, it's actually going to import the style guide that we have. So this is using client-first styling for CSS classes. So a lot of designers that use Webflow or use this template could know exactly how it's being designed. So it's gonna first import in your whole brand style guide that you created in Reloom into your Webflow project. And then it's gonna actually move the entire project from Reloom into Webflow. And as you can see, it told us this import saved us 6 hours and 30 minutes. Now I can't show you this website because again, it's a client site, so you can take my word for it. It literally moves everything one-to-one from Reloom to Webflow. It is so sick, which is why I included this in this video. I'm only including tools that I actually really use and really love. Okay, let's go on to the next one. All right, the next tool is Lexica or lexica.art. This is a tool that lets you create AI generated images. Now I know there's tons of services out there that help you create AI generated images. You can even use ChatGPT to create an AI generated image. But I do believe, at least my favorite that looks legit is Lexica. I don't see it talked about a lot in the marketing space, but I personally use this one with clients to help them generate blog thumbnail images. So for example, I can look up like laptop with a view of the ocean and hit search. And as you can see, all these different images come up. So like these are really cool. I've used these style images for a handful of blog posts, but you can even play with all of these. So I can even add, make it look like a cartoon. And as you can see, some of these are kind of whack, but every once in a while you'll get a cool little hidden gem like this one right here. And I'm actually gonna show you right now a blog post in the wild that's out there. So I'm blurring everything out, but this is a blog post I wrote for a client and it's ranking #1 for the target keyword. And this image right here, I actually generated in lexica.art. So it is okay that I found for using in SEO stuff. I would be careful using too many AI generated images that look like AI, but these cartoon style animated images kind of blend in and they look like somebody just designed them. And so lexica.art is a great tool that I love using for these style images. Okay, and last but not least, my favorite AI marketing tool is ChatGPT. Just kidding, just kidding. I mean, I love ChatGPT for a lot of different use cases, and I love using Gemini and Claude, and more recently now Grok. Side note, if you were to use ChatGPT to generate content, like if you want to draft an email or maybe a blog post, I'm not recommending it. I hear Grok is better than ChatGPT at writing like a human. Don't tell anyone I said that. But I'm not going to talk about ChatGPT as a tool because everybody knows that. But I am going to talk about a tool that you can use ChatGPT with to automate literally everything in your marketing flow. So the last tool on the list and my favorite one in this entire video is Gumloop. Now, Gumloop is a really fast growing company right now. And what it is if you have used Zapier before, where you can like connect different apps together, think of Gumloop as having a little bit of that Zapier-like to it, but adding AI on top of it, like an AI layer with different LLMs that you want to use. So you can integrate this with ChatGPT, with Claude, with Gemini, with Grok, with DeepSeek, any LLM you can think of, you can integrate with Gumloop, and you can also connect your tools like Google Sheets, Google Docs, Slack, Notion, whatever tool you're using, and you can create these different sort of AI automated workflows with it. So on their site, if you actually go to their templates, you can see that there's a bunch of different stuff from like web scraping. So you can scrape and categorize website leads. You can have the tool go to LinkedIn and scrape company information. There's tons of stuff, even on the SEO side, where you can create like a blog keyword optimizer, an AI content rewriter. You can actually integrate it with SEMrush as well. And you only need to pay for a Gumloop subscription, but you have access to like the best version of all the LLMs out there. You have access to using SEMrush. You can even integrate your Google Analytics to this. And you don't even have to pay for other subscriptions, which I think is super underrated. Gumloop is literally just like eating the cost of those tools. But let me go ahead and show you an actual flow that I'm using. So the platform looks like this, and you literally drag on things into a visual interface. So I can say I want to do a web agent scraper, I want to scrape a website, and then I can like search things. Like you can have scrape a website and then connect like a database writer, and you can start connecting things together. Now, it can be a little bit of a learning curve. So they actually have this thing called Ask Gummy, and I can literally tell Gummy whatever it is that I want to build. So I can say I want to automate my content outline process, and it's going to think about it, and it's going to say, in this case, I already have created this, so it's saying I see you already have that flow set up, but it'll tell you basically like what you need to do. And in their beta feature, if you turn it on, it'll actually start doing it for you as well. So in this case, it says like takes a keyword, it's explaining what I have built here, but normally it'll tell you how to actually build the flow, which I think is super cool. But in this case, I've essentially gone through and created a flow where there's an input and you enter a keyword, which then comes out into a web search scraper. So it actually goes and it can search things in Google, and it's gonna scrape, I told it to scrape the top 5 URLs, and then I connected that to a website scraper. So it goes and it finds the top 5 URLs, it scrapes each website into multiple lists, and then I create this join list item where it combines them all together, and I send it as context to this Ask AI node. And in the Ask AI node, I basically said, based on these articles, create a comprehensive blog post outline that is better, include unique insights and missing topics, structure the main sections and subsections, give bullet points under each section on what to include. And I can choose the AI model, as you can see, all these different models, from Claude to Google to Perplexity to Metas to DeepSeek to Grok to Azure. So many different options. And even if you're not paying for like ChatGPT's $20 a month to get access to GPT-4o, in this case, I can use it straight in Gumloop. And then I connect that to a Google Docs writer node, and the Google Doc writer node then takes the content and it's going to spit it out. And the title, I basically connected it all the way up here back to what the input is. So whatever the keyword is going to be the title of that document. And then from there, it'll just spit out and give me the Google Doc link. But I can also add an output node where it also gives me an output if I were to create an interface, which I'm going to show in a sec. So I'm actually going to run this flow, but I actually do need to input a keyword first. So let's go up here and we'll do the same one, how to start a newsletter, and I'm going to hit run. And now it's going to run. As we can see, it's scraping the web. Now it's going through right now and it's scraping all the websites using the web scraper node. I'm going to zoom out to show the flow. As you can see, it's super visual and it's just such an amazing UI. There's so many tools that are popping up like this right now where the UI just sucks. But this one is really, really nice. Okay, now it's asking AI. So in this case, it's using GPT-4o. And as you can see now, the run is successful and it outputted a Google Doc. So let's click on this. And as you can see now, our Google Doc is literally filled with this outline. But as you can see, this outline is kind of a little funky, so we actually have to go back and do something here. So in the Ask AI, I'm actually going to say, give the headings as Markdown format. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say content format, Markdown. I'm going to run it again. All right, now it's done, and we're going to go to our blog outline, and boom, as you can see, now it looks so much better than we made it in Markdown. And I can go through this outline and I can just start writing the article. So this is super helpful if you're like a content agency or you're creating lots of outlines for this flow. But this is literally just one flow. Like you can build whatever you can put your mind to that you want to automate. You can literally do it in Gumloop. So the other really cool thing about Gumloop is I can create these interfaces. So I can create a way for either my team members or people that I want to share this tool with to actually use it themselves as well. So in order to do this, I'm going to go and click this add interface, and it's going to come up here. And I'm going to come up here and we're going to edit the interface. And here I can say blog outline generator. We're literally creating software without writing code. And then you can make it look pretty, but in this case, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. I can add the text field, which this would say keyword. And then I'm going to return to workflow. And now we can see that keyword, we have an option here. And I'm actually going to go and take out this output section and put it into the query. Same thing with that. I'm going to take this keyword and I'm going to put it into there. And now this was just for testing purposes, but now I can actually use it within my interface as well. So I'm going to click save. I'm going to open up my interface, and now we have this app, which I can then type in. And I can run the flow. And there we go, it's successful. The output, blog outline, and boom, there we go. So that's really cool. We literally just made a blog outline tool using Gumloop, and you can, it's not just pertains to blog outlines. You can use it to automate everything. Just go and check out their templates, or literally just sign up for free and ask Gummy what can you automate or whatever you want to automate, and just play around with the different nodes. You can connect your Google Analytics, you can connect Notion, you can connect everything to AI, and you can have Perplexity search things and then put them into a Google Sheet and write a doc summarizing things. There's just so much you can do with the tool. It's actually insane. All right, and that's it. Those were some of my favorite and top used AI marketing tools right now. This is not a sponsored video or anything. These are just the tools that I love using, and I just want to share them with you as well. So check them out in the description, or check out the blog posts that I wrote about this. There's a bunch of more tools in there that are really cool as well, but these were the notable mentions that I felt like deserve their own dedicated video. All right, if there's any other videos that you want to see, leave them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear say Waymo. Waymo.